Nag-inapte kami.
How's your dentist? One, take, 1, 2, 3.
I'm still like this.
Mommy, you're
I
great.
never, you need, muscle.
Ano ka na nga, nag-lose ka na nga ng weight eh, compared dun sa before mo.
So this is actually, there's a lot of studies about this too. Fasting. And I'm not talking about intermittent fasting because obviously that is very beneficial. What you want to do is if you just want to stop eating around like 9 or 10, and then don't have your first meal as long as you can till like 12 or 1. Which is a while, but what you can do is there's several things you could do coffee, which is only a little bit of calories. But then anyways, back to fasting. So okay, really quickly about intermittent fasting, like when your body goes through that long of a fast, it starts building these ketones, which actually like again like
Ketones?
yeah, that's why it's called a ketogenic diet when you just do protein and no carbs. I don't know if I'm saying this right or if I'm butchering it, but basically you just burn a lot of fat because your body uses the stored fat for energy instead of food that you're intaking. So what's also great about fasting, and there's actually a lot of studies coming out about this, is if you do a 3-day fast. A 3-day fast, like a couple of times a year, when your body is in that much hunger, it like awakens something in your cells that decides to attack any cell that's not being useful. And if you're familiar with how cancer forms and sickness and all that, it's dead cells not getting recycled and then turning bad and
staying there.
And staying there. So what fasting does at a 3-day period is it like your body goes into shock, it goes into like we need to survive. So it literally goes through your entire system and kills all the cells that are just bad for you. And so there's again like this is new, but there's a lot of studies about
So
it.
3 days na hindi ka kakain?
Yeah, just water. Yeah, I mean if I could find the article again because I just browsed through it, but yeah, like I'll get more info about it, but it is very, very beneficial. It helps.
I don't think I can do the 3-day fasting, but I think I'll be okay now.
Yeah, I mean you can work up to it, right? The main reason for the 3-day fast is just to prevent like long-term health risks, right? Because it's
Have you done it?
No, I haven't, and I don't need to because I'm like young enough that like all my cells still work fine. Like I think so. So I don't need to, but the intermittent fasting, for me, like I don't need to fast as well because I'm trying to gain muscle.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like big breakfast, big lunch, a lot of calories throughout the day. And what I'm trying to do is also work out, right? So a lot of the reason big bodybuilders, right, they stay big because it's eating. So if they were to stop eating, the number of calories that they're consuming, which is not a deficit, it's more than they burn, and it would have to be a lot more too because they're also working out. If they were to stop eating for a week, they would visibly look like thinner, right? Because a lot of the food that the pump that you see when you go to the gym when you're really big, that stays big because the calories that you intake stay in that system. So it actually like inflates it. I want to say it's water weight. I don't know if that's correct, but that's the majority of it. But that's what I would do, is that I would have to eat more than I burn, right? But it doesn't do me any favors if I just eat and not work out, because then it's going to be stored as fat. Whereas if I work out my muscles, the muscle gets stretched, and then these little fibers open up. So then all the food that I take, exactly, it goes in and it fills in the muscle. And then your muscle eventually, you do that long enough, it absorbs it and it becomes bigger. So it adds like layer. What you can do, yeah, exactly. So you have to, take in less calories than you burn. Okay, so you have to get into a caloric deficit. And it's easier too if you work out, because the more calories that you burn, right, it'll be easier to eat less than that.
She didn't even walk.
Ma, I'm
Look,
It's different from
it is different because it's not that
Only because
if you were to just use your work as the workout, that's fine. You just have to eat less, and you'll eventually burn. You will, but you just have to stop the snacking. You have to stick within like a certain amount of time where you can eat, and then the rest is you just don't eat. Water. There's two ways you can come about it, from this side and this side. And if you were to say, just throw working out aside, say you just did work, right?
yeah.
You just did work and your body burns calories by like sleeping, by just thinking, doing your day-to-day stuff like work. There's a certain amount of calories that your body burns, right? Exactly how much, I don't know. We can probably figure it out. But right now you're gaining weight is because you're eating more than you burn, right? So to attack it from this side,
Do you have an Amazon?
you just eat less,
Actually, I'm not
right?
sure.
And you eat more satiating food. So like
What?
satiating food. So like things that'll make you full, that are less calories.
Like nuts.
Nuts are great, but you can't have too much, right? Because then your body stops absorbing it. It can actually be unhealthy. So like heavy meats are really good, right? Things rich in fiber are really
But
good.
isn't it bad for me because I'm older na? Yung
Oh,
heavy
you're not
meats.
old.
Anak, I'm old na.
Like
I
40?
can, yeah.
That's not old.
Old.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
People turn their lives around. People join the Navy when they're 40, and what? Like, all it is it's a mindset. If you keep telling yourself you're old and weak, you're gonna feel old and weak. Anyway, so you come from this point where you just have to lower your intake of food, right? So that way you're burning more than you're consuming.
What's that?
And then if you add working out to it, you're not only like using the muscles, but you're also burning more calories. So you're in a further caloric
Yes, I've
deficit.
been telling you
right?
the past few days.
And because you're
What I'm
burning more
putting on
calories,
that.
then you'll have a bit more room to
Where my
eat and
mind at?
snack just a little bit more. But the fact that you already burn calories as a living human being doing everyday things, but then you add working out to that, and you burn even more calories, and then you stay at a diet where it's still a caloric deficit, then it's going the ways that you want it to, right? You're burning more, you're eating less. All of that will just make you lose fat. It's the simplest math that your body does. It just needs to stop storing all these extra calories. What's really easy too when it comes to diet, see, for me, when I bulk, the more ingredients I add, the more calories it is. So for example, if I'm making rice, instead of regular water, I put bone broth. That's extra protein, that's extra calories, right? If I'm making like a protein shake, I add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You can't tell the difference, you can't taste it, but that's extra calories right there, right? I'm cooking with butter and I'm cooking with rich oils. That's more calories. You can't really taste it. Yeah, sure, people say oil is you can taste the difference. Sure, but that's just more calories, right? So to do what you want to do is just the exact opposite. You simplify your food.
So just boil everything.
Yeah. That is the extreme way of it, right?
Like no dressing on your salad, no.
That's the thing. So it really depends on how much you want to get away with. Because if you want to do this for the shortest amount of time and see the most results, then you go to the extreme. But if you want to do this where you can remain consistent and you're not killing yourself because of lack of taste and food, then you do something that's still tasty, but you're not burning as much as you can, which is fine, because if you got to decide for yourself like what you're willing to do for more, like what you're willing to do, because with that mentality, if it's just a little bit of a caloric deficit, it's gonna take much longer, but it's the consistency that counts, right? So if you feel like that will help you keep consistent, then you're still losing weight. Yeah, the ketogenic diet, it's a bit of a hit and miss too, because like,
But they work for me though.
yeah, that's mainly to like promote ketones, but you can still have carbs. You could still have rice. You
Yeah.
just can't have it
Too
3 times a
much.
day.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to like just be mindful of how much you're eating.
Hmm.
Because if say you had like a big bowl of pasta for lunch,
Yeah.
then dinner has to be a salad and salmon. You could intermittent fast for 13 hours. But if the rest of the day you're still intaking more calories than you burn,